Hi, this is Dave Garski from Guitar Lessons Orlando. These are my lesson videos that I'm going to start doing for the year 2017, trying it out for the first time on January 1st. So I'm planning on doing dozens of these videos to help you become a better guitar player. I teach for a living. I have been doing guitar lessons in Orlando and bass lessons since about 1996. So without further ado, I'm just going to introduce to you the first 6 chords you should need to know when you're learning how to play the guitar. And each of the chords are going to be considered in brackets of keys. They're like families of chords that all belong together. Okay, so the first key is going to be the key of C, or the key of C major, I should say. What that involves is there's 7 chords for every key. The first chord would be C. The next chord is D minor. The next chord is E minor. The next chord is F. And then G. And then A minor. Now we do have a 7th chord called a B diminished chord. It sounds like this. It's not a very good sounding chord by itself. It's a very low percentage chord. We're probably not going to use it very much. So we'll just consider the first 6 chords that I played. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, and A minor. Okay, so playing these chords, we have to understand what we're doing here. If you don't already know how to do this, we have our 4 fingers and our thumb on our left hand. It doesn't matter if you're right or left-handed with any of this. If you're left-handed and you're watching this video, it basically looks like a mirror to you, so it should actually be very easy. Our pointer finger is number 1, then our middle finger is number 2, ring finger is number 3, pinky is number 4, and of course our thumb. So when I refer to a specific finger, you'll know which one I'm talking about. On the guitar itself, we have these spaces here on the guitar known as frets. Well, these metal things going across here are actually the frets. As you can see, they go all the way up the fretboard. We have our tuning pegs for each of the strings. When we go to put our fingers down on the strings, we're thinking in terms of not being on top of the fret itself. Hopefully you can see that. We're actually going to be back just a little bit behind it, about a millimeter back. I don't know if you can see that. So anytime we place our finger onto the string, it'll be behind the fret, behind the fret instead of on top of it. Okay. So we have 6 strings going across. I'm sure you can find all this kind of stuff anywhere online. But each one of the strings has a number and a letter. The string farthest away from our face is string number 1. That's E. Okay, the next string up above that is number 2. That's B. The string above that is 3, which is G. And then the 4th string is D. The 5th string is A. And the string closest to your face is string number 6, which is E. Now a lot of people get confused because they think, well, 1 would be right here, the closest one to me. It's the opposite of that. It's the exact opposite, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there's a way that you can remember this by using the letters, by associating them with a name, names in a sentence. I had a kid many years ago who told me that he knew how to play the strings, or he knew what the names of the strings were just by something that he made up, and that was, elephants always drink good beer every day. Okay, so you take the first letter of each one, E, A, D, G, B, and E. Okay, so elephants always drink good beer every day. E, A, D, G, B, E. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now the ones that for adults that I tell my adult students is every acid dealer gets busted eventually. And they do. Okay, so 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, E, A, D, G, B, E. So when I refer to any of these given strings and fingers, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, so moving on to the chords, we have the first chord, which is the C chord. Use our first finger here. It's going to go right here on the 2nd string, 1st fret. It may feel a little weird. Some people that are beginner guitar players are like, that's painful. Ow, it hurts my finger. It will. It's going to for a while until you get used to it. Okay, so the first finger there, the 2nd finger is going to go right here on the 2nd fret of string number 4. Okay, the 3rd finger is going to go right here. Again, you're stretching here. This is something that your hand is probably not used to. Unless you've been playing for a while, this is, probably going to be a little bit of an effort for you. The 3rd finger is going to go right here on the 3rd fret of string number 5. Okay, so 1 is on string number 2, fret number 1. Second finger is going to go right here on string number 4, fret number 2. Third finger is going to go way up here on the 3rd fret of string number 5. Okay? Okay, so how many strings do you play? Well, for this particular chord, the C major chord is going to just be the bottom 5 strings, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Because our root note, our lowest note of our chord is right here. Right there, that's the C note. That's the middle C on a piano. So if you wanted to ever tune your guitar, you could just go to that. That note right there, the C. We are not going to play this one. We're not going to play the 6th string. Okay? So it should sound like this. No, it shouldn't sound like that. My finger got in the way. Did you hear it? I'm going to try to adjust it, see if it plays like this. That sounds more like a C chord. Okay? Okay, that's our C chord. The next chord is D minor. Now, the major chord and the minor chord are completely different chords because of the 3rd note in the chord. In this case, what's going to happen is maybe the C chord sounds like a happy chord. You know, it doesn't sound like a sad chord. However, D minor sounds like a sad chord. I've heard it told that in classical music, the D minor is arguably the saddest chord in classical music. Sounds sad, right? Okay, so the next chord is D minor, and this one's going to be a fairly easy chord. We're going to take our first finger, put it right here on the 1st fret of string number 1. Second finger is going to go across string number 2 and over here on string number 3 on the 2nd fret. Okay, so it's a little bit of a reach, not too bad. The reach is going to actually happen with our 3rd finger right here on the 2nd fret, so it's kind of going this way and then back. And this one's going to go on the 3rd fret of string number 2. So first finger on string number 1, fret number 1. Second finger on 2nd fret, string number 3. Third finger, 3rd fret, 2nd string. Okay, so this is a D minor chord, and we're only going to play 4 notes, 4 strings here, including the 4th string. 4 is the D string, so that's going to again be the lowest note of the chord, which is the root note in this case. So that means we are not going to play 6 or 5, we're just going to play 4. It should sound like this. Can you hear that? It's like really a sort of a sad sounding chord, D minor. Minor chords are notorious for sounding like sad chords, they're darker. Okay, so we went from C, which is a happy chord, right? That we said earlier. And then we go to the D minor chord. Okay, so what we're going to do next is, with those 2 chords, we're going to do 2 measures in 4/4 time, meaning I'm going to go strum 4 times for each measure, and we're going to do that twice for each chord. So there will be a total of 4 measures. Okay, so C for 4, and then another 4, then D minor for 4, and then 4 again. Okay, so I'm going to go slow so you can play this. The whole idea behind this is to be able to change chords clearly in rhythm. That's the whole point of this video. We're learning some chords, and we're going to learn how to play them in rhythm. You know, we don't want to be playing like this and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait a minute, I have to change my fingers around, and because that's not realistic. I mean, yeah, when you're practicing, that's what's going to happen. But when you're playing an actual song, you have to play the chords in rhythm with the song. It would sound more like this. Okay, so I'm going to go real slow. Like I said, 2 measures of each chord. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. C. D minor. You can always rewind this to that and just play over and over with it until you get it. It's going to take some time. It's going to take probably several days, maybe even a couple of weeks, to get to be able to change these chords. Like if I'm doing this song in like a regular time, like if I'm doing, Okay, so the next chord is E minor. So we're not doing it like this, we're going to do it like this. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. The second finger is going to go here. You can see how I'm back a little bit further because my third finger is going to come in right behind it. And they're going to pair off next to each other. Can you see that? I hope so. Okay, so 2 is going to go here on the second fret of string number 5. 3 is going to go right next to it on string number 4, second fret. Now here's the easy part. You don't have to think about how many strings because it's all of them. Again, another dark sounding chord. And the E right here, the 6th string, the elephant string, is the lowest note of this chord, so it's the root note. Again, in this case. You hear me keep saying that because there are chords that are root notes or that are higher notes. Okay, not necessarily on the 6th or the 5th or the 4th string. Okay, which is coming up on the next chord. Okay, so now we have 3 chords. C, 1, 2, 3, 4, D minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now the E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, assuming you've practiced the C and the D minor transition, we're just now going to go from D minor to E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. D minor. E minor. Okay, so again, you can go back and play that over and over, however many times you need to do that. I'm not going to waste time by playing it over and over for you. Okay, the next chord. I just referred to this next chord having a different root note on a different string that is actually higher than the lowest note of the chord. At least the way that I play it, the way that I teach this chord so it sounds good. There's a couple of different people that play, there's a couple of different ways that people play this chord, but I'm going to show you the chord that sounds the best, in my opinion. So this is the F chord. And this is where it gets a little tricky. I think this is probably the hardest chord to play as a beginner because it requires all 4 fingers and a little bit of strength in your thumb here. Okay, you probably feel this muscle right here is kind of sore already, and your fingertips. Yeah, everybody has those fingertips. Oh, I got lines and getting calluses. That's how it's supposed to go. Okay, so going back to the F chord. Our first finger is not going to do just one string, it's going to actually do 2 strings. So this is what we call barring. If you notice there, I've got my first finger going across this note and this note, the F and the C note right here, across the first fret of both string number 1 and string number 2. Okay, that in itself is a little bit difficult, right? But you'll get used to it, trust me. Okay, the second finger is going to go right here on the second fret of string number 3. That's the A note. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. Right here, this is F. Hear that? That's the actual root note of the chord, but it's not the lowest note of this chord. We're going to put our, the actual note, is the lowest note right here is going to be the C, but the F is the root note, okay? So these 2 fingers are going to come down, just like we did here with E minor. We're going to do the same thing with these 2 right here on the 3rd fret of both string number 5 and number 4. So again, the 4th string is the root note. But we have a note that's lower, which is the 5th of F, which is C. Now if I play just the 4 strings, it sounds like this. It sounds okay, but it sounds just a little bit weak. There's too many high notes in there. If we add the bottom C to that, hear the difference? It sounds much better, right? Okay, let's go over that again. F, we're going to bar these 2. The first fret of string number 1 and 2. The second finger is going to come down here on the A, which is the second fret of string number 3. The third and the fourth finger, I know you're reaching for it. It's like, I can't get this, Dave. How am I supposed to do this? You just got to keep trying. That's not going to happen overnight. You just got to keep getting it. Eventually it'll look like that, and it'll sound like this. Again, I'm playing 5 strings. Okay, for the next exercise, we're going to do the E minor and the F. One really easy chord and one very difficult chord. But don't get deterred by that. You'll get it. I've had students over the years say, I just can't get this F. A couple months down the road, after they've tried a lot, they eventually get it. If they put their time in it, they will eventually get it. And it's been proven over and over again. So everybody learns this chord. You can get it too. Okay, so we're going to go from E minor to F, 2 bars of each. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. E minor. Okay, the next chord is a fairly easy chord too, again, but it's going to be using all 4 fingers. There's a couple of different ways to play this chord. It's called the G chord. Again, you can find all this stuff online, but I'm just introducing it to you the way that I teach my students. The G chord is going to be a 6-string chord, just like the E minor was. That's all 6 strings. The G chord looks like this. Again, all 6 strings. Okay, so the first finger is going to go down right here on the B, which is at the 2nd fret of string number 5. The second finger is going to go right here. That's the root note, the G note. Okay, so that's the 3rd fret of string number 6. Now, just like when we did this E minor, and just like when we did the F, we had these pairings, right? We had the pairing here for E minor, and the pairing here for F. These 2 fingers are going to pair down here on the 3rd fret of strings number 1 and 2. Okay? So we add the other 2 fingers to it, the other 2 notes. Again, all 6 strings. You can hear that? G is our chord. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can play the G chord. When I first started taking lessons way back many years ago, my instructor taught me G like this. A lot of people play G like that. It's fine, it's a G. I call it the Eagles G. And the reason I call it the Eagles G is because a lot of Eagles songs have that chord thanks to Glenn Frey. Rest in peace. There's a song that they did called Take It Easy, and it begins with this chord. This is a G. Not the chord I just showed you, but this one. I mean, you can play either one. This one sounds better. Here's the other one. One has a high D in it. The other one has the B in it. Whether the 3rd or the 5th, whichever one you want to use. But in this case, we're going to use this one. Okay? The Take It Easy chord is this one, the Eagles chord. And it sounds like this, just to give you an idea what I'm talking about. Because I have to have these 2 fingers in that position to play the first 3 chords of that song for the intro. Ready? 2, 3, 4. Familiar? One of my favorite songs. Eagles are a huge influence on the way that I teach guitar lessons. Okay, let's go back to the G chord. The G that we're going to do is this one. Okay, so first finger here on the B. You notice I'm starting to add the names of the notes as well, along with their positions. So the 2nd fret, string number 5, is B. There's the G on the 3rd fret of string number 6. And then these 2 pair off on the 3rd fret of string number 1 and 2. Okay, we'll do 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just so you can get an idea what it sounds like. Okay, so the exercise we did earlier, we're going to do the F chord and then the G chord. Okay, so 2 measures of each. Now go slow again so you can get this. 1, 2, 3, F. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. G. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so review that over on this video. Just go back and try it a couple more times. Eventually it'll sound something like this. Okay, the next chord is A minor. It's our last chord for this series. We've done C, D minor, E minor, F, G, and now we have the A minor. A minor and C are brother and sister to this key. C is the major chord in the key of C. A minor is the minor chord in the key of C. It doesn't matter about the theory or why, just know that for now. You can find theoretical reasons for all of this stuff online places about why these chords are what they're called and where they come from and all that kind of stuff. That gets into the more of the advanced stuff, or the intermediate. Okay, so the A minor is going to be the first finger, just like we did with the C, right here. They're very close to each other. The second finger, again, very close. Look, it's the same place as here's the C. All we have to do to make an A minor is move this finger, the third finger, to the third string, second fret. See, here's the C that we did earlier. Just moving the third finger. See, it sounds like a darker chord again. F and G were major chords, happy chords. C, F, and G. Now we have D minor, E minor, and now A minor. So 3 of each. Okay, fairly easy chord. 1 on the C note. There's the E and the A. Again, so now what we're going to do is play from the 5th string, because that's the A, right? We said elephants always, so there's the A right there, number 5. Five strings. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. What we're going to do here for this exercise is the last 2 chords together, G and A minor. We'll start off with the G, 2 measures of each. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Begin. A minor. Try that again. Okay, we're going to start off with the G and the A minor, 2 measures of each, just like we did before. We'll go slow, G and then A minor, okay? 1, 2, 3. Begin. G. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A minor. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, again, just review over each of these practices for the different chords. We have the first one, the C to D minor. Do 2 measures of 4 for each, and just keep rotating it. Keep doing it for a couple of minutes until your fingers fall off. Okay? C to D minor. Then the second was D minor to E minor. D minor to E minor. The next one was E minor to F. That might be the most challenging one, but you'll get it. You gotta really put in the time and commit to it. You have to do it. Because F is going to come up in a lot of songs. And you can't just say, well, I can't play that song because I can't play F. No way. You gotta get it. E minor, F. Then the next one was F and G. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whatever your count is going to be. Just play it in 4/4. F and then G. And the last one was G to A minor. Okay, just to review again. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, and A minor. Okay, I'm going to give you just like a sample of what I can do with those 6 chords. I'm just going to play sort of a song form using all 6 of them. I'll play it like a sort of like an intro, and maybe like a verse, and then the chorus, and then I'll just end it. All right? And I'm going to change my strumming here so it sounds like a song, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. unbelievable, isn't it? I just made that up on the fly right there. That's what you get to do. When you learn these kinds of chords, you can make up your own songs, which is so empowering. There's thousands of songs that are written that you could play with just these 6 chords. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, and A minor. Okay? So practice this stuff. I'm not talking like a half an hour a day. I'm talking like, an hour a day at the minimum. Do it every single day. I guarantee you will see the fruition. You'll start to see things happen here the more time that you put into it. You've got to commit to it. It can't happen overnight. It'll take more than a week. It'll take probably more than 2 or 3 weeks. But eventually you will get it. All right, until next time, I will see you on the next video. Thanks. Bye.